Hello and welcome to another special edition of This Week in Organic. In this episode, we're looking at the different SEO challenges that the comparison site industry is facing, and also touching on aggregator sites and affiliate marketing too. We're going to look at topics like how SEO has changed for comparison sites over the last few years, whether or not Google is now a competitor in the marketplace, and also whether product providers are now turning into competitors as well themselves. Joining me today is Lucas Zalesny, an SEO consultant, a speaker, and head of organic acquisition at uswitch.com. Lucas, thank you so much for joining me.
Hello, thank you very much thank you very much for the invitation. It's great to be here, and I'm a big fan of Twio. So it's another time you gave me this chance to present my suggestions, my opinions. Thank you very much and welcome.
Oh, thank you very much. And I must use that quote somewhere on the website, I reckon. Lucas, a big fan of Twio. That's staying on the site. Yeah. Okay, great. So did I miss anything out of the introduction there in terms of who you are?
You didn't mention my addiction to travel around UK with random trains. Next time I will tell about this a little more.
Are you still periscoping about that?
A little, yeah. I was periscoping from Shanghai recently, and I was periscoping yesterday when I was doing webinar. So yeah, I become a kind of periscope addict.
You mentioned Shanghai. You're just showing off now, I think.
No, this is something we have in common, don't we?
Well, I've periscoped a fair amount, but I've actually started experimenting with blab.im, and I reckon for online chat, for more than two people involved, I think it's going to be my preferred broadcasting tool, but it's early days. We'll see how it goes.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of, I guess, what a comparison site actually is, would you say that a comparison site is an aggregator site? Is it an affiliate site, or is it just something that's completely different?
I think this is one of the best questions I ever had, because you touched absolutely probably at 100% of what the comparison website should be created from. That's our three main ingredients. So you mentioned comparison. Obviously, it's a function that is available on the website. We're comparing prices. You can compare deals. You can compare whatever. Then aggregator is another function crucial to the website, which is able to grab the offers from the suppliers. And no matter we're talking about mobile broadband or we're talking about about credit cards, there is an element of aggregation. And obviously, like, aggregation itself without comparison is just like you would have our RSS aggregator, like a long time ago, lots of duplicate content and nothing else. So when you have comparison and aggregation, that's fantastic. And then obviously affiliate is this kind of commercial aspect, commercial model and commercial relation between comparison websites and between suppliers, provider of the service. So I think it works a little like in finance, you have revenue, profit, and EBITDA, and that's our three guys who are living always together. And there is you cannot rely on one, but you always need to think about them as a three inseparable elements.
Okay, well, hopefully I can get other questions as good as the best ever question. So ever improving in terms of question level, I'm not sure. So aggregator sites, they must have, if you just talk about aggregator sites that don't add any additional value, they used to be quite popular online, but obviously Google Panda came along. Is it still possible to actually run an aggregator site now without adding any significant additional value?
Well, I think no. I mean, you can be lucky. You can hide in the bush for a couple of years. But normally, as far as I'm aware, what is the Google terms of service and how they suggestion to do, there must be added value. And I think Indeed is a fantastic example of aggregator But in the first place, you may think like, well, that's are just the offers, job offers from the different sources. But if you go deeper, this is so well organized aggregator that no other service is giving first as broad, because this, you're getting a super broad view on whatever is on the job market, and second, you can start filtering this by salary, by region, and so on and so on and so on, all this offer. So this is where the added value is. um, for comparison website, when you're thinking about aggregating offers, lots of users like the fact that they can see all the market in one place. And obviously there are other things like reviews, like comments, like the fact that you can start comparing these aggregated offers, and so on and so on. However, I feel like there need to be a kind of a nice balance between what we call duplication and of content and the functionality. Ideally, in the online marketing utopia, I would like not to have any duplication.
Mm.
And lots of websites is pretty good with this, or getting very close to this, is trying to rewrite content, is trying to do some clever stuff, but the functionality, like I mentioned, this comparison and other facts, filtering, digging in this data, that's what giving user the added value.
So you mentioned Indeed there, and I think most people were probably aware of them. Now, they now offer, as far as I'm aware, the ability to actually post jobs on their site. So if that's the case, then they're going to be getting the original content themselves. So that's one more reason for Google to actually like them. But you also
True.
said that the service is better than anything else out there because of the way that it aggregates content together. Now, if a service is created from aggregated content, and if the service is fairly unique because of the content it manages to deliver, do you think it's still possible for it to actually rank in Google based on user signals, even though the content has been published elsewhere?
Well, there is it's very broad question, and to answer, I would need to go very deep. I think this is the balance, because one first option, if you're aggregating content, you can go massively. You can start covering lots of long tail keywords. You can cover areas that maybe you don't know about that they exist, and you're finding them looking on your Google Analytics, where the traffic is coming from, or Google Webmaster Tools, what keywords you're ranking on. Yeah, and that's surprise for you. For non-aggregated content, it's more about, well, I can mention like Money Saving Expert, which is based more on user-generated content, which is a forum, and then offers. So it's to keep the balance. There is no right answer to say like, that amount of duplicate content is where you should go. It's rather Indeed is a good example. There is lots of duplicate content, but people likes this because of the functions. You mentioned one function. I can mention the fact that people who are looking for a job can upload their CV there, and then HR or agencies can just log in and see who is waiting for a job there. That's another function. So it's not really, I think I could answer this question that way. If the service is based on duplicate content in some persons, but it's done for people. It wasn't written because we will saturate a SERPs, because we will saturate Google. Then you can probably sleep well, or almost well.
Sleep almost well.
But
So
there is always, I was reading as a kid a book about Microsoft, and they had this philosophy that even if you've been brilliant in something and you've done something great, the task was done great, you should always have this concern. Maybe I could do this a little better.
yeah, no, that's a good way of thinking, certainly. But what you were basically saying there, I think, is that if you have an authoritative domain and you probably publish unique content in other areas, then it's kind of all right having aggregated content in other areas if it offers a unique, decent service.
Yes, and I think this is what I was always believing Google is trying to suggest people who are creating affiliate blogs and so on. So you may have own opinion or in the blog posts, and below there are links to Amazon where you can buy something. But what is giving the added value? It is that there is someone honest opinion, and I love this kind of, there is video of unboxing thing, then how I was using this thing, and then what I'm thinking about that thing I bought, and then a link to the product on Amazon, and then there is this kind of value
So a lot of opportunity for user-generated content as well then.
as well. Yeah, of course, of course. And even like you think about comments are very important. Comments sometimes bringing as much value as the article you was reading about, because I have this rule that I'm rather trying to avoid having a public discussion on forums or on comments, mainly because I really suffer of the lack of time. But I liked reading this, especially when you have this function of adding pluses for a good comments and minuses for a bad comments. So probably after a reading article, reading 2-3 comments which are on the top, that's our that is the additional value generated by users.
So adding pluses and minuses, does that mean that you'll be a fan of the Facebook dislike button if it comes out?
I think it's time. It's time to do this. It's time to do this, because there was too many ridiculous situation, like it's the saddest day, my cat died, and then 50 likes. What does it mean? There should be added something else, or likes is not the best way to go. I think it was kind of a trademark of Facebook. Everybody know. And I remember when I said first time in 2009 about people who like your page, about likers, and everybody was like, does this word even exist? And everybody right now these days is thinking about likers. So yeah, I will be a fan of the downside button probably.
So looking at comparison sites and also the mobile web, is it very important for comparison sites to be optimized for the mobile web? Generally, do people use comparison sites on their phone as they're walking about, or is it more of a desktop situation?
I can observe that it's like nice pivot right now, and every year there is more people using mobile devices. So according to what you said, what is crucial right now is the UX and UI to be just perfect. There is like so many things you can give people, and to make this journey and the fact that they visited your website absolutely exceptional. So I am big fan of UX and big fan of UI. Because I feel like these days it is an integral part of SEO. So I also made a little of pivot. I found that my SEO is like a central hub. It's not a silo. And UX and social media and even PPC and content marketing and even growth hacking, everything is together, and SEO is kind of influencing every discipline I just mentioned. So mobile is a must. I cannot imagine that there is any big comparison website that doesn't have a mobile responsive design. And you can see that I would even say that comparison website are websites where other companies could learn how to do this well, because bounce rate, for example, page load, for example, that are factors which can really positively or negatively influence your rankings. So in the competitive markets, like on comparison websites, UX and mobile devices are crucial.
Okay, but for comparison sites in general, would you say that it's more popular than average to look at a comparison site on a mobile device, just the average amount on the web, or would you say it's about the same as just an average site?
I think it depends about products. Some products will be more popular on mobiles and much more popular. There will be more traffic coming from mobiles than any other website you can think about. And then there will be some products that people are rather used to open websites on desktop or laptops. And I don't want to lie right now, but think about this. There are car insurance where you need to give a lot of details before offer can be generated. You need to specify lots of things about your car, and that may be a little time consuming, so people rather are thinking, okay, I will leave this for later. I will open my laptop and I will do this at home. When looking for a credit card is very quick. You just opening, you're looking for balance transfer credit card. There are balance transfer credit card, click and you can apply online because the form is relatively simple. So product is crucial when we're thinking about the split between desktop and mobile.
Okay, you mentioned credit cards there. Credit cards is probably a very competitive keyword term when it comes to Google organic search. So if someone was starting a comparison site about credit cards, is it better just to focus on long tail keywords terms, or is it realistic to actually rank on the first page of Google for an ultra competitive keyword term, I guess, like compared credit cards?
Well, I, will, I remember when Matt Kutz in one interview said, if you want to launch an insurance company, maybe you should think twice. Again, it is very important to know what type of company we're talking about. If you would like to talk about startup that want to become a price comparison website in UK, I would be thinking that it's very, very difficult to start. But obviously, and I would recommend to target long tail keywords. But going somewhere abroad to Philippines or Indonesia, maybe that would be a good option, because making things right quickly, that would give, there is like a big deficit of websites like that. Could be very, very successful. I think in any market right now, targeting short tail keywords like credit cards, book, cars, and so on and so on. That's not the way to go. In my opinion, it's first what makes your website better than the website established on the market. If there is something better, sooner or later people will start visiting and will start giving lots of signals. And you can see Rap Genius is one of an example, or Pinterest. I was looking on Pinterest visibility. There was flat for a year or something, and then this kind of boom on the newspapers and magazines and blogs and so on and so on, that there is new brilliant social network and the visibility spike. Same story can happen with next generation of price comparison website. However, like I'm saying, it's very, very competitive.
So if you were going to start out a comparison website, would you say that means that there's no point for the first 6 months in even thinking about carrying out any kind of activity that will drive links to the site, and all you should focus on is usability and product before you actually get to a stage where you're doing SEO?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I would also think about product, because you can compare these days anything. There is lots of untouched market, I believe. You can compare lots of services that are uncompared. Like market is very segmented. I also like nambio.com. I think that's a comparison of cost of living in different cities. So you can say, show me London and Jakarta, and show me how much bread and milk cost. Is based on user generated content, and that's also a type of a comparison website. So it's a big story, but I would definitely keep focus 6 months or even a year on user experience, and I would try to learn a lot what my users expecting from my service.
So for a new site starting up, would you advise them to build 1,000 pages targeting keyword phrases that were only attracting 100 searches per month, or 100 pages targeting keyword phrases that were attracting keyword phrases for 1,000 searches per month? So the same potential traffic, but more content.
Both options sounds to me a little like a doorway pages, but I would rather like the users, the owner of the website, not thinking obsessively about what keywords we're going to rank on. First, let's set up 20 pages and let's think why we setting up this 20 pages and what will be there. So it's more philosophical question, what will be there, what will be the structure of websites. At the end of the day, in the first month, I would probably start with 100 pages, and that includes some guides, that can include FAQ pages, that can include product pages, table pages, rather than artificially inflate website to 1,000 pages and believe that, oh, we will cover, more keywords and we will start be successful quicker. It's very kind of easy to fall into this kind of craziness. And I remember myself when I was a kid, chasing keywords, chasing search volume, and so on and so on. Right now I'm a little more smart, and I'm like, you know what, chill out. We will get there, trust me. But first, user experience. First, let's learn about user. First, let's answer the fundamental question, what we want to serve and why we are better, what is our mission. Yeah, so 100 pages rather than 1,000 on the beginning, because when you will get 1,000 and you're doing this right, that probably will go like that. You will never, you not even notice that it was 1,000 pages. You know what I mean? You will wake up one day and you'll be like, oh my gosh, there is 16,000 pages and we never had this as a factor, how it happened. And then you will be like, wow, because of this, because of blog post, because of FAQs, because of guides, because of forum, and this kind of way.
So are you saying that the most important thing is usability? Because if you consider what a user does when they land on a page and maybe they spend a decent amount of time on the page and go further through the site, that's much more important than getting more traffic that perhaps only stays for 10 seconds and then goes away.
That's correct. It's about how to utilize this traffic we have better way, and that's why thinking about UX is crucial right now, because you can deliver organic traffic, but when your UX is not right, then you won't be utilizing this traffic effectively.
So you mentioned 16,000 pages there. I assume a big website could hope to get to that kind of size if they have a big content footprint. But if you do have that many pages, should you be tracking the ranking of keywords for all of those pages, or should you just be focusing on maybe the top couple of hundred?
So that's a very good question. Thank you. You see, like, there is some people really want to track every keyword that give them ranking, and I am answering this. I'm trying to push this back, that there is infinite numbers of keywords that you're ranking on. Some keywords never been typed in the search engine, yeah, but you probably ranking on first place. Let's say your brand keywords 1 to 3, you still will be first, and you didn't even know about this keyword until I told you. So my suggestion is, if you want to track, you can use kind of a sample of representative sample of keywords,
right?
2-3 keywords per URL. You also can find in Google Webmaster Tools or Search Metrics or SEMrush this kind of keywords which are relatively popular, and that's why they are there already in this platform. So keywords with the search volume, but tracking like all the keywords and all the pages, again, that's a little kind of obsession, because the outcome, the added value from this is very little. So tracking a sample across the whole website give you ability to understand that, when there was algorithm update, and I saw no fluctuation, so probably everything is fine. And then maybe another update, and some keywords went up, but some keywords didn't. Which keywords went up? Is this related to some specific type of pages, or maybe specific type of product? And this way you can have some conclusions, and instead of tracking thousands of keywords and messing with this data and having no clue what these numbers every day means.
So we were talking about mobile traffic earlier on as well, and you said obviously that mobile traffic is increasing all the time, but is the conversion rate that you can get from mobile traffic generally just as good as desktop traffic?
Yes, absolutely. Sometimes even higher conversion on the mobile devices than on the desktop. Again, this is all related to UX, and think about this. We are living in the world that we have a great mobiles like Samsung, iPhone. That's our smartphones, which which gives you absolutely fantastic comfort of dealing with websites. It's not like 90s when you had WAP, and that was really challenging. And I don't know how people could use this. I just been on WAP once in my life.
I haven't heard of that for a long time, but I had a phone with WAP, but that was a while ago.
That was when we were playing Snake on Nokia's. And
Yeah, you were going there as wow. Yeah,
yeah,
blast from the past.
well, so I feel like I may be wrong, but we are in this era where we're doing responsive and desktop layouts, yeah, and maybe three types of layouts: the tablet, iPhone, smartphone, and desktop. But something is telling me that there will be a moment of unification, and that the layout but will be again very similar or the same on three devices, but the different way than you remember this from 2010 or 2012, like you had to pinching websites and inflating this. And you can see on some websites there is not much difference between tablet and desktop. It's very simplified. I very much like Paperly have this sidebar menu. When you click with these three lines, when you click, the menu appear, and the user experience is very similar to tablet. And I think this is the right way to go, because you're giving the same feeling this no matter what device user is using, and
Yes, no,
user can learn your website easier.
absolutely agree. I think it's annoying when you actually view a website on a smartphone or on a tablet and you can't find the same functionalities you can see in the desktop site. You're looking for things and it doesn't exist because of
Yeah.
whatever row in the responsive website it's been taken out.
This is what I had always problem. This is how I had always problem with Twitter. Some functionality doesn't exist on Twitter mobile website, and I had to go to desktop, which makes me quite uncomfy, because sometimes I couldn't open desktop because I was somewhere in the bus. Yeah.
Mm, mm.
So I think this is the way where we're going, and I'm really excited about this.
So something else in terms of where we're going is Google want every website to move to HTTPS, and you've got a lot of big established websites which perhaps have HTTPS functionality as part of an order process or a signed in aspect of their site, and maybe they're canonicalizing the HTTPS version to the non-HTTPS version, which makes it perhaps challenging from an SEO perspective to move the whole site and change the URL structure. Do you think that comparison sites should think of moving to HTTPS completely?
I think it will happen one day, but like you mentioned, is a little risky, because theory is one side, but practice is the other side. And when you have lots of authority and lots of history behind you, and all the backlinks you ever earned in the history of the website, 20 years or 15 years of existence on the market, are pointing to HTTP, and now you're doing this 301 to HTTPS, you never know what will be in the future. Maybe this 301 will be passing value forever, maybe will be decreasing value, and that's only one thing. There is other things, there is lots of question marks, lots of risk, and so on and so on. From other side, Google is suggesting that the websites should be HTTPS. It's not like a must yet. So again, like I think lots of websites kind of is waiting, putting this on hold. However, if anybody would come to me and say like, Lucas, I have this idea for a little online shop and I will start doing this on WordPress and WooCommerce, I would be like, fantastic. And you know what? Let's buy SSL, because it will be so easy to implement, so easy to make it live with HTTPS. And that's it. And you don't need to worry about this instead of coming back to this after a couple of years. But for established website, and I saw a few case studies, it's not always this transition is not always as smooth as you would expecting. So it's like a big debate right now between some people. What is the right way? You know, I understand that sometimes there are like areas like blog posts which doesn't really need to be HTTPS. It's good to keep them HTTPS, but there is no any data you would need to protect. But obviously some areas is a must. But turning on HTTPS on a whole website which got lots of history, I'm always considering a little risky.
Okay, so generally the best thing to do is if you're starting a business now, then just make the whole website HTTPS.
Yes.
But if you're have an established business, then just wait for 6 months, see how the situation evolves and then make a decision in 6 months' time.
There is also one more. You can gradually start turning this on specific part of the website. Yeah, that's also a way to go. However, it's probably more resource consuming than turning this on across whole website. Yeah, but at least you can observe what's going on and what implication that have on your website.
That's a good tip there because you can test and learn. You can perhaps pick a few pages that brings a little bit of traffic, and you can see what happens, how quickly Google actually changes the URLs and the SERPs, and whether or not you retain the same rankings as you had.
That's correct. That's correct. And you can kind of proactively react if something is going wrong, or you're not risking the whole website and the whole traffic.
So you also talked about a blog there as well, and lots of websites have a blog as a way to actually publish new, fresh content onto your site, and Google likes fresh content. But with a blog now, you don't see so much interaction within the comments section in general, because obviously with social media, people like sharing things on Facebook, Twitter, and commenting there. Do you think a blog in general is just as valuable as it used to be as a means to actually add fresh content onto a website?
I think it's not. Actually, it's not. I think blogs very often present time-sensitive content, something what is accurate today, maybe tomorrow, but not after a year. Blogs very often present information about, this week or next week we're going to do this and that, and so on and so on. So they are right for today, but after a year it will be a past that nobody cares about. So what I notice, it's very often that blogs doesn't rank as good as, let's say, pages from WordPress. And if you would like to see some example, I think Neil Patel blog about growth hacking, he got nice section about growth hacking. And that are not blog posts. That are just static pages without a date, without author, I think, and without and with evergreen content. So he's not referring like this 2015 year, blah blah blah, because this 2015 years is only accurate today and until December, but in 2016 he would need to change this, or he would need to rewrite, and so on and so on. So in WordPress, for example, you have two types of basic two types of content: blog posts and pages. I think that pages have much stronger potential if you will be thinking about evergreen content. So FAQ, for example, they can rank quite well. Guide pages, they can rank quite well. Blog posts are rather, for shorter period, and when you have established traffic, when you want to engage on social media, that's fantastic type of a content, but this is different type of content to what pages are represents.
Okay, that's intriguing. So do you think in general, for a new business starting out, then they may be better off actually not having a blog to begin with,
Yeah.
and using social media to make time-sensitive announcements that you're talking about?
Definitely, people doing this mistake that they're spending too much time on writing blog posts, and then they are frustrated that they have no traffic. But the mistake they're doing, the small companies especially, this is that they are not promoting this blog post the right way. They're thinking that, okay, we covered this and that keyword when we will be ranking. I'm like, it doesn't work like that anymore. Why don't you go on social media? Why don't you go on Twitter, LinkedIn? Why don't you promote this on Facebook? Maybe buy some little campaign on Facebook, and so on and so on. But the trend is like, people are like, oh, we need to have a very strong blog, and we need to blog a lot, and so on and so on. And then frustration is coming. And I'm trying to educate people that, well, it's not this. However, I need to mention, if you are lucky with your website to get into Google News, obviously that's our only like reputable website with authority. But there is a lots of them right now. Like, let me mention Tech Radar, for example. Then you will be there for, I think, 72 hours. Yeah, but the traffic you can receive is tremendous. It's a lot of quality visits. Yeah, but
So, I
obviously,
mean, One of the ways that people used blogs in the past is they took the feed from the blog and then submitted the feed to lots of different blog and RSS directories. Is that tactic not worthwhile doing anymore?
No, it's not worthwhile doing anymore. It's just a time waste. And again, like if you write something really engaging, you will see that you don't even need to rank in Google. The traffic will come. There is lots of case studies, something a little controversial, and BuzzSumo, I think, is very good in this kind of. I think they're using WordPress and blog post. Mashable is very good in this, but again, you see this kind of blast of traffic on the beginning, and then obviously the traffic is going down. Yeah,
absolutely. But you've got to then have the call to action on your website and make your website sticky for people to actually carry on, and give a mechanism for people to hopefully subscribe to your content, maybe by email moving forward after that, I guess.
True. That's possible. However, I mentioned Google News, and you need to be aware that Google News doesn't allow you to do call to actions. It's more about journalistic value and content value rather than commercial value. So you need to be very careful when you are in Google News, what you are placing. I think subscribing emails, that would be absolutely fine, but showing some commercial things on Google News, on articles which are in Google News, that would be probably not a good idea.
So do you think it's fairly easy to get a blog that's fairly well established, accepted by a source of news by Google News?
Yeah, of course. If you mentioned well established, when you have a well established website, and there is, let's say, you and your 5 friends who are expert in, let's say, in an area of how to do fantastic podcast, and I'm considering you as an expert, then definitely you have your niche, and you've been for a while online, for a year, and you're doing this right, and you're writing for people. I don't see any problems why Google would refuse to place your blog into Google News. However, obviously there is a couple of rules worth to read on the beginning. The URL structure must have probably numbers. There must be a couple of writers. That the value must be in the articles. There must be journalistic value, and then yes, you can rank on a lot of keywords or phrases which appearing in Google News, which trigger in Google News, and there is a lot of traffic as well.
That's an interesting tip that I wasn't aware of, actually, that your URL had to contain numbers, because a lot of people set up their WordPress posts not to include numbers at all and just a keyword phrase. So that's a mistake, you think?
Yeah, that's a mistake thing, and if you starting even new website and you're thinking like, oh, one day I would like to be in Google News, it's worth to read these rules. It's worth to implement these rules that must be there, because it will make life easier. However, I wouldn't expect to appear in Google News in next 12 or 24 months, because first there need to be this kind of period of proving, self-proving, and proving to Google that, yeah, we are worthy to participate in Google News. Because again, this is like free tool, and they are fully aware that it's very luxurious to be in part of this tool. So they really care about who is able to add website to Google News. And just a little more, if people are already past this period of, they prove themselves that, yeah, we are worthy, we are good, then in Google Webmaster Tools, or called now Search Console, there is a tool which will help you to add Google News into, which will help you to add your blog into Google News.
Okay, great tip there. And so sticking with Google, but bringing it back to comparison sites, do you think that Google is going to become more of a competitor to comparison sites in the future? Should comparison sites be worried about Google starting to do things like comparing credit cards and flights?
Well, a little of history. Not everybody probably remember that Google bought a website called Bid.quote, which was a price comparison website, and then I believe they used their engine to implement their own price comparison in the SERPs. They are there. They are appearing there. It's very difficult to say if they will be a threat for other comparison websites. Definitely, there are competitors right now. They're looking for new channels. They looking to be active on different discipline and different markets, and that makes markets more competitive, and that's probably very good thing for end user. However, from the other side, Google is fantastic search engine. Google got fantastic tools and like Google Docs, Drive, Chrome, and so on and so on. But there is also a couple of tools or activities that didn't work quite well. So I don't want to judge and I don't want to be like a prophet, but time will show how it will be going. Everybody was thinking that Google Plus will eat Facebook very soon because it will be fully integrated with Google. It didn't happen. Google Plus is not a leader of social media, but Google is still a leader of search industry. So worth to observe. That it's fantastic to make sure that the market is competitive and is giving more better value to the customers.
Okay, so I would take from what you're saying there as focus on usability, focus on delivering a great user experience within your industry sector, and if you do that, you shouldn't be that concerned with having Google as a competitor in the future.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Now, I also see lots of adverts on television here in the UK from comparison sites like Murray Supermarket and Go Compare and others. As an online marketer, do you think it's possible to actually track the impact of offline marketing? And if so, how would you go about doing that?
Yeah, there are tools, which helps you to do this. In the nutshell, you just have a schedule of your commercials in the different channels and different region of UK, and then you can measure this kind of short time uplift generated right after advert was shown in TV, and these tools are pretty accurate. I don't have a name right now because this is not my department, but I know that these things exist and they doing very very good deep analysis of how TV impacting your website. You also can see this in traffic. Definitely, TV can influence a lot about your traffic, and the awareness is going up to the roof. But I think again, without right tools, without a proper analytical mind, that can be more about let's try to guess. Offline marketing or offline advertising is also well visible in London Underground, as you probably know. And they're doing lots of this kind of clever tricks, like www.ourwebsite.com/underground or /metro, and you will get 20% off for something. Yeah, so people are remembering this address because they want 20% off, and this 20% off is giving a little information of how popular this campaign in underground is for. So using specific URL related to the campaign, offline campaign, may be very helpful.
Okay, but at the moment, you're not finding yourself fighting against offline departments and saying, no, this traffic was brought in by organic traffic, not by your offline traffic.
No, that's even deeper. We're touching the attribution model, which is crucial. But again, at the end of the day, you're playing in the same team, so there is only certain level, this healthy level of how much you need to dive in this number to get conclusion. Because if you remember Pi,
3.14.
Yeah, but do you remember the movie Darren Aronofsky?
Oh, okay, yes.
Yes. So you see, when you're going too far, this is where we can all end up. It's kind of a madness. So I'm far away from fighting against. Obviously, when you know that there was an advert campaign or there was some program and your company was mentioned, you obviously know that that spike is generated probably because of the TV. And also you can see what pages receive this traffic, even if this is organic traffic, but the spike is on the homepage, probably it's because of the brand name. Yeah, you rarely expect a spike on deeper pages because of TV. Nobody's typing URLs because of advert in TV. They rather are typing in Google brand name of your website. Yeah, so it's quite easy to justify.
So in the future, can you see it's being absolutely essential for offline and online marketers to actually work together in the same department and understand each other, or will it still be possible to actually have separate departments?
I think we see more and more like everything is less in silo and more integrated, and I love this. I love working with people. I love working in the teams, and I think this is a great moment that everything is more and more and more integrated. So there is no more like that's my department, that's your department, and we playing different tracks. It's more like we are a band, and I'm drummer, and you are a guitar player.
I think I want to be the bass player. No. Have you found, obviously, you have different comparison websites that have different products on there, and then you have those products probably separately trying to rank highly in Google as well. Do you think that individual products like certain credit cards are becoming better themselves at optimizing and therefore becoming competitors to comparison websites as well?
I don't understand the question. Can you
Well, I
rephrase?
mean, yeah, sure. I mean, let's pick a company, for example. If you have like the Virgin Money credit card,
Mhm.
and you have a comparison website having that credit card featured within their site, and then you also have Virgin Money doing optimization on their page and trying to actually be higher than the
Mhm.
comparison site for competing keyword phrases.
Yeah.
Do you think comparison websites view these kind of products also as competitors and try and actually make sure that they don't rank above them for certain terms?
They probably will see them. They will see them as a partners because there is a commercial link. But in terms of the what you said, there is rather we're touching this user value. Yeah, so you need to be aware that as a comparison website, you need to serve additional value. That's the only way you will be able to overrank suppliers. And I think maybe I'm wrong, but it's better for user to see a price comparison website on the top, because price comparison website very often giving a broader view on many other cards instead of a few cards from the same supplier. Second thing I could mention is that lots of the suppliers for money products are banking websites and banks, yeah, bank companies. And I believe that the process of being quick and flexible with SEO and so on doesn't work that simple as in price comparison website,
Yeah.
because of the lots of rules and lots of legal aspects that banks need to follow. So for them it's extremely challenging to optimize content and so on. It's not like you're going to WordPress CMS and you're just changing this and that and everybody is happy. Probably it's like a couple of weeks process, and then and then another change will take another couple of weeks. So yeah, quite diplomatic answer, but
No, I'm aware of banks that use very old content management systems and can't update them because they have processes integrated with them, and it takes them years sometimes to make a single decision. But I guess that's the advantage for quick-moving competitor or comparison type websites like Money Supermarket, Uswitch, Confused, all these other sites out there.
yeah, definitely, and when there is something like mobile get-on, this update about your website must be responsive, then I feel like it's quite easy to implement that kind of quick change within a couple of weeks in a price comparison environment, and that would be quite difficult to implement in banking. So maybe that's the reason why very often you see price comparison above banking websites or credit card providers.
So, I mean, price comparison websites obviously rely generally quite heavily on receiving commission for recommendation. And are unlikely, I think, to actually list products that they won't earn some money from in general. So if that's the case, and you have other companies, I think like Direct Line, who don't want to be on comparison sites, are there many companies out there that don't want to give a commission and appear on comparison sites? And if so, is that a problem for comparison sites?
I don't think this is a problem. I think there is a lot of companies, but we're talking about very small local companies, sometimes companies which are helping people with that, or very specific narrow markets, and that makes for me a sense that they want to rather stick with their small market and do better phone marketing and telemarketing rather than going on comparison websites, receiving thousands of clicks, which they will find very hard to convert. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So I don't, the market, and especially UK market, which is fantastic. I feel there is so many levels and so many sectors and so many this kind of shoes you can wear, that we're talking about many different type of comparison website. You know, I never saw so many website comparison website that really works, because I'm originally from Poland, and I know how difficult it is to make price comparison website profitable in Poland. Yeah. Answering your question, no, I don't think this is a problem that they would like not to be with price comparison website, or even they would like to be offline, because sometimes it happens as well.
So you mentioned you're originally from Poland there. There's a fairly strong Polish community in the UK. Do you think that it's worthwhile a big comparison site in the UK writing their site in a different language like Polish? And if so, how would you go about? Is it possible from an SEO perspective within the UK to target other languages?
Yeah, definitely. Because you mentioned Polish society. This Polish society who is right now, and which state is a little settled down. Lots of people already have mortgages. Lots of people started to have families, and maybe that's the right moment to think about them. Maybe other communities, and having website in couple of languages, maybe Lithuanian, maybe Spanish, maybe Italian, or even Chinese, would be good. That's one thing, and the other thing is to raise the awareness, because lots of these communities is not aware that they can switch. The concept of switching, it was quite exotic for me as someone who was rising in Poland. I didn't know that you can do this that quick, that simple, that painless, I would say. Yeah. So raising this awareness, and having websites in the local languages, that's an option to go a little more broad.
Okay, so but I mean, from hreflang perspective, you can obviously tell a search engine that a website is intended to actually target a certain country in a certain language, and you can say that the alternate version is here if this person speaks that language. But if you search within Google UK, for example, in Polish, would you actually easily be able to find a version of a comparison website in the Polish language within the Google search engine, or would you have had to actually be aware of the site beforehand?
So right now, if you write the Polish phrases to compare something like compare energy or something like that in Polish, you probably end up on a Polish website targeting Polish customer in Poland.
Right.
.pl. If you think about Polish people who living here in UK
Yeah.
who would like to switch energy, they will definitely use an English version of the term. 99% of them is fluent English, so they would be fully aware. So that's the minus of creating this kind of website in local language here. But there is an option to go to target people living in Poland and who speaks Poland, and present them the concept of price comparison in Poland. Yeah, the question is this as easy to implement there in Poland how it would be here?
Mm.
That's another question.
But if you're actually targeting people who speak Polish in the UK, then, and they're likely to actually type in then
Mhm.
the search query in English, is it a good usability option to actually have an option within the, say, the top right hand side of a website to change the language, or is that going to put some people off, or is that a good usability thing?
That's why I would like to have this website in local language, yeah, because it's something different to type phrase like price comparison of energy, and different thing to read about this kind of 500 words or 1,000 words explanation how it works. So that's the reason why, because I think we confused the listeners a little. They would think that if everybody is fluent English, why you would like to have a Polish version of the website. The Polish version of the website would be not to rank, it would be rather to give the explanation in the local language. And I would do the same, with Gujarati, with Hindi, with Chinese. Maybe not the whole website, but the crucial pages that are the most popular and giving the most important things. They could be translated to local languages.
And you wouldn't just rely on Google Translate for the translation?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Okay, I'd like to talk a little bit about outreach as well. Now, I guess the challenge for comparison websites is they don't actually own the products themselves. So they can't probably send products out to bloggers, for example, to review. So is it possible to get bloggers to review comparison sites and perhaps even link back to them?
Well, I think if you ask bloggers to review your website and in return give you a link, you are in a opposite to Google
Yeah.
terms of use. So you cannot do this, unfortunately. But there is lots of this review website like Trustpilot, like FIFU, like Revu,
Mm.
and so on and so on. Review Center. And you can use this website. Obviously, there is not that much SEO value, but I feel like stars under the website and stars which from 1 to 5. When you see this and you see for an 6, for an 8 star of 10, and there is like 1,000 review, that's something which is telling you about the quality, and you more likely are going to visit the website than website without the stars. I wouldn't go with this kind of strategy of bloggers who will start linking to website because of the review. That's kind of tricky. But there are other ways to get links. It's enough that you are first to write about new iPhone, you are first to give a review about new iPhone, you are able to you giving clear message that, hey, this photo, if you want, they are freeware to use on your website. And then lots of bloggers may go to your website, copy photos, and then write source and then website where the source is from.
Okay, so a better strategy is to write amazing content, share it with your users, share it on social media, and then if it's that great, then bloggers will naturally pick it up and possibly link to it anyway.
Especially if you are early adopter, if you are first, if you wrote about something that other people didn't know about, and you're giving like a review of the phone that is not even yet or like is just available for 2 hours, you know what I mean, because your guy was there on this conference and could write quickly bullet points which you converted into article, and bam, it is right now online. So the blogger, and when you go with social media, again, social media is a part of SEO strategy these days, then other bloggers will pick up, and if they see the photos that they have no other source except of your one, then even if you wouldn't like them to use this, they probably will copy these photos, and you should be happy because most of them will mention source.
Okay. So earlier in the conversation, you talked about Google trying to challenge Facebook with Google Plus, but it not really managing it as a social network. For comparison websites, is it important to be on Google Plus, or are there other better uses of your time to actually focus on from a social network perspective?
Everything depends on how much time you have. I would suggest 2, maximum 3 social media networks are what you should deal with. Yeah, If you want Google Plus, that's fine. If you want Facebook, that's fine. If you want Twitter, that's fine. That's our three, but don't go then additionally with Tumblr, Pinterest, and Flickr, because that will take too much time. I personally, and I'm always telling this, I'm a fan of Twitter, and I think that LinkedIn is a holy grail of my social media world. I'm also on Facebook because of the photos of cats of my friends. So I would suggest to go no more with three. And the fact that I am not a big fan of Google Plus doesn't necessarily mean that some other person would have a different opinion.
So one tool that you didn't mention there was YouTube. Is YouTube a social network?
Oh yeah, definitely. YouTube got great value. I forgot about this. Yeah, and I think majority of price comparison website definitely is utilizing YouTube in very interesting way. Let me give three. First, you can review mobile phones, for example. Yeah, there is lots of reviews of mobile phones. Also from price comparison website. Second, you can upload your commercial that you have in TV in YouTube, into YouTube. Yeah, there is lots of people, especially when it's funny, engaging. Lots of people likes to watch this video, how it was done, and so on and so on. And the third one is like making of. So making of the advert, which is right now in TV. So all this takeouts, I think this is how we call this. All this
Outtakes, yeah.
outtakes,
Yeah.
The bloopers and all these things that makes a little more human face, and is funny and is engaging and is also got kind of a viral potential. So that's our three ways to go. And yeah, possibly there is a million others, but YouTube is definitely a channel.
Okay, that's great YouTube tips there. But if you're producing videos on a regular basis for your business, is it better then to have your own video player and have a video sitemap as well, and perhaps get your videos listed within search results by themselves? Or is it okay just to go with a YouTube channel?
I would go with YouTube because you're targeting audience which is there, and you can start collecting subscribers and so on and so on, and it can be your additional channel. These internal players are more when you're trying to put content behind a paywall. So when you are trying to make a course, which people should pay first and then see the video. So Vista,
Yeah, Wistia, yeah. Wistia and Vimeo Pro as well.
Yeah, I'm big fan of Wistia, but obviously for this kind of price comparison website activity, I would rather use YouTube. And again, like there is a Vimeo you could go with, but I think it's more about let's find maybe potential customers and so on and so on, because there is also potential to put adverts on YouTube. Yeah, before the specific type of videos, you can present your advert. And considering the amount of the people that every day is on YouTube, that's fantastic way of at least bringing brand awareness and also converting.
Yeah, no, that's a good strategy all by itself. I mean, I was thinking there for a second as a video publisher, and that you don't make that money from adverts, but as a publisher, of course, you can actually select what videos you want to appear in front of, and that's a completely different digital marketing tactic all by itself, possibly deserving another whole session by itself.
I feel invited.
You haven't been put off so far. I mean, this is wonderful. I mean, we're approaching about an hour or so that you've been on, and it's a lot of incredible content that you've shared. So I reckon it just about takes us to a close for today. Do you think there's anything that I didn't ask you that I should have asked you?
There was I think when you originally sent me this list, there was a question about part of the website that you wouldn't like Google to index.
Ah, yes, that's absolutely right.
That's
yes.
a very, very good question.
Sorry, I missed that one. Yeah. So, obviously, a few years ago, page rank sculpting was very popular, wasn't it? But you can do different ways of trying to get Google to index or prefer certain pages more than others. So, do you think that's still an important SEO tactic?
In a couple of last years, I just found very interesting cases. First case I would like to mention was the website with 6 million pages, and they noticed that when they achieved this couple of million pages indexed, adding content become very difficult because they were adding one blog post and they were waiting weeks to be indexed. Mainly Google was keeping the kind of a budget they have daily crawl, and they were never been able to find this one or two blog posts across the 6 million pages. They were trying, maybe daily they were trying to crawl 10,000 pages, but the how lucky you need to be that Google would pick up this two new blog posts also in this 10,000 when you have 6 million pages. So what these people done, they started to shutting down a little different part of the website and keeping only the core part. So it's not about page and sculpturing, it's more about, think about this, there is a type of page which is called sandwich page. When you click a deal we want to land, first there is like, now you will be redirected to, let's say, and there is a company name, yeah, that's the sandwich page, which stands for 2-3 seconds, yeah. Thanks to this you can track a lot of things. There is thousand sandwich pages, yeah, generated because of you have thousand offers, and you don't want Google bot or any other bot to crawl sandwich pages
No.
because there is no value to be indexed. That's first thing. And the second thing, there is no sense to let Google to crawl, to spend their budget on some pages that doesn't have, I mean, the value is there, but the value is about tracking. There is no value if someone will land on this sandwich page from the search engine. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
And now another thing, you can analyze your weblog. So you're going to your server, cPanel or Amazon Cloud, you're downloading weblog, and where you have user agent, you only selecting the one which is Googlebot. And then you will see, let's say last 30 days, how Google was crawling your website. And you may discover that Google is trying to crawl lots of 404 pages. When you start digging deeper, you may see that this 404 pages belongs to the folder /emg, because 3 years ago you had /emg, and there is lots of backlinks from external website pointing there, and Google is still trying to crawl over and over and over. What are you doing? Just disallow this emg or redirect 301 on homepage. Do something that Google is not trying to be in this loop 404 404 404. On Brighton SEO there was this company called Botify. I think they are very, very good in terms of analyzing this on the large scale. I'm really fascinated to analyze this in Excel and SQL, but obviously I wouldn't go with millions of URLs, but I'm trying to be pretty good in if we're talking about 50,000 or 100,000 URLs, just to give a little of context where Google is crawling and why this page or this sector of your website shouldn't be crawled. And it's more like, finally, the outcome of this is like, you never can say like, hey Google, today crawl this or this, but you can say reversed, Google, don't crawl this, don't crawl this. So technically maybe it will be easier for Google to find what you want Google to find.
That's a lot of great tips within there as well. I'm sure a few people will be replaying that section that you just discussed. Just a final question, actually, in relation to that and sitemaps. Is it worthwhile putting priority scores next to each URL in sitemaps?
I'm using priority scores, and I am using this using this tool xml-sitemaps.com, which is pretty good. And every time I'm using this tool, there is no errors. I had this question from my friend recently, and I answered him the same way. Like, if you're going on these tools which are creating XML sitemap automatically, use these priorities. I think there is not much impact to use them or not to use them, but if the tool is giving you this option, why not to use them? Obviously, one thing, make sure that they're gradually going down, because some people are doing this mistake that they put 1.0 across every URL.
Absolutely, and it needs to be the 0 to 1 scale is basically an indication to Google across the whole site as to which pages is most important. And if you have every page at 1, then it won't know which pages are most important.
Yes, and there is also this parameter change frequency. So we can set this for a month or for a week. It depends how. But if page is not changing or changing very rarely, then be honest and use 1 month, for example.
Okay, okay, a good indication as
So,
to.
so good to mention for people xml-sitemaps.com. And if the website is not very big, they're giving this tool for free. And if it's big, then pro version costs something about $20, and then you can crawl thousands of URLs.
Wow. Okay. Well, you've offered us so much information there. Thank you so much for coming on. And of course, you're welcome to come back anytime.
Thank you
Please,
very much. It's always a pleasure to be here.
thank you. Please tell our listeners and viewers where they can find you online.
Oh, thank you for opportunity. So I'm always saying, let's stay in touch on Twitter and LinkedIn. My Twitter is Lukasz Zalesny, and you can type the same on LinkedIn. And yeah, you can add me and we can have conversation or send me email. And yeah, I will be happy to answer if you have any questions.
And you can also type SEO consultant into LinkedIn to find you, can't they?
Yeah, then you will probably end up on my LinkedIn profile. And there is also zalesny.uk, which is my paperly page I was working today a little on.
Great stuff. Well, and I'm David Bain, head of growth here at analyticsseo.com. And you can also catch me interviewing online marketing gurus over at digitalmarketingradio.com. So this has been a special pre-recorded webinar. Normally we broadcast a weekly live show that debates the ramifications of the latest SEO and content marketing news. So sign up to watch the next live show at thisweekinorganic.com. But until then, take care and well done for making it to the end. So I'm sure everyone thought it was worthwhile. Adios. Thanks
Thank you
again,
very
Lucas.
much. Thank you. Take care, everybody.